Shroomraver here, and today we are back with the Nickname Academy. This is the series where I'm going to take every single Pokemon from Bulbasaur right the way through to Eternatus and give them all nicknames. And when future generations come out, we're going to do them as well. Yes, indeed. Now, it has been a long old time since I've done one of these, actually. Not for any particular reason. I sort of fall in and out of love with uploading and recording, and it takes a lot of time, especially as I've mentioned before, this series, it's specifically the creation of the slides takes a lot of time and effort, and sometimes I can't be bothered to do it so much, but now that the coronavirus has hit us all, I have lots more time on my hands, even more so than before, so I can actually really get down to the nitty-gritty of making these slides. So, with that said, it's time to get into some more Gen 3 nicknames. Now, as I said, it's been a long time since I've done these. Last time we left off with Minun, about halfway through Gen 3. So why don't we crack on and move further into Gen 3 with the first Pokemon of this new video, and that is going to be Volbeat. Yes, Volbeat is going to be called Fallen. Reason for that is Fallen is the name of a song by a band called Volbeat. Very simple one there. I didn't really know that Volbeat existed. There's actually a couple of Pokemon in Gen 3 that have the same name as bands. I think Altaria is another one. I can't remember if we've done that or we're going to come on to it. But either way, Volbeat is a band. They have a song called Fallen, so that is what Volbeat is going to be called. Volbeat's counterpart in Gen 3 is going to be Illumise. And Illumise is going to be called Funhouse. The reason for this is Illumise is the Firefly Pokemon, and if you are watchers of WWE wrestling, you will know that there is a new character. Not really a new character, but one of the most hyped up superstars of recent memory. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt's alter ego character from his comeback, and he has this segment called the Firefly Funhouse. He takes the role of this kind of Mr. Rogers style kiddies talk show host with an evil demon alter ego, because sure, why not? Wrestling is dumb. But yes, he has the Firefly Funhouse. Illumise is the Firefly Pokemon, so it is going to be called Funhouse. Next up after Illumise we have Roselia. Roselia is going to be a very simple nickname. There's quite a few of them in this particular episode. Just to ease me back into it, we have OLENNA. OLENNA is a character from Game of Thrones. Queen OLENNA of House Tyrell. She is known as the Queen of Thorns, and the house sigil of House Tyrell is a golden rose. So we've got Roselia, who is a rose Pokemon with thorns because roses have thorns, so therefore Roselia is going to be OLENNA. After Roselia we have Gulpin. Gulpin is going to be called Thirsty, because if you're thirsty, you need a drink, you're going to be gulping down liquids like water and stuff. Very simple one there. Quite simple indeed. Gulpin just going to be called Thirsty. And after Gulpin, we have its evolution, Swalot. And Swalot was a Pokemon I had a lot of trouble thinking up a nickname for. It didn't really lend itself very well to nicknames, so I just went with one that I used to call my old Swalots, which I did used to use sometimes. I had quite a fun stockpile belch citrus berry set ages and ages ago. But I always called my Swalots Indubitably, because the way it's sort of got its raised head, sort of looking up a little bit, and its little arms there, it always reminded me of like some kind of high up noble person from like a novel who might have a monocle and would say things like, oh, yes, indubitably. I don't really know why it struck me like that, but that is the reason I've given Swalot the nickname Indubitably, just a little thing that my mind went to when I was nicknaming my first Swalot that I ever used. Moving on from Swalot, we have Carvanha. This is one of the stupider ones I have for this episode. It is called Two Vehicles, lol, because its name split up into bits is car, van, ha. Car and van are vehicles, ha is laughing. Two vehicles, lol, Carvanha, done. Very dumb one. I'm putting that one down as the one for the episode that Chaos is going to hate the most, just throwing that out there. So, the evolution of Carvanha is going to be Sharpedo, and Sharpedo is going to be called ANTI-THRESHER. Now, reason for this, I, like many people in sort of my earlier days, many moons ago, went through the shark phase. Most guys will go through the shark phase. You got the dinosaur phase, the car phase, the shark phase, I don't know what other phases there are. But I was obsessed with sharks. At my old home, I've got loads and loads of books on sharks. And a Thresher Shark is one of the most recognisable types of shark because half its body length is made up by its tail. It can grow to like 10 foot or something ridiculous like that. So half its body length is made up by this very long tail, but Sharpedo has no back end. It's basically just the front end of a shark. So it's like the opposite of a Thresher Shark. So that's why Sharpedo is going to be anti-Thresher, because that's what it is. Next up, another water type, we have Wailmer, and Wailmer is going to be called Laboon. Laboon, for those of you who watch anime, very specifically One Piece, may recognise this name. Laboon was a whale in the One Piece anime / manga, and it became friends with Luffy and the One Piece crew, the Straw Hat Pirates, that's what they're called. It's been ages since I've watched it. Became friends with the Straw Hat Pirates, and it was trapped in this area of the world in which One Piece is set, called Reverse Mountain. It's this big sort of rocky mountainous line that cuts the world in two, basically, and it was trapped by Reverse Mountain. It couldn't get out. Now in the anime, I don't know what episode it is, but it was an anime episode where Wailmer was like a featured Pokemon of the day, and Wailmer was trapped by rocks. It couldn't get out from this rocky area, and I think they probably saved it in the end. But it's basically exactly what happened to Laboon in the anime, which is why Wailmer is going to be called Laboon. Wailmer, of course, evolves into Wailord, as I just very quickly scroll down on my list. There we go. Lovely. Wailord, next up, is going to be called Defender 88. Now, the reason for this is it's based off of comic books, and it's based off of Marvel Defenders, a comic book series. Very specifically, issue 88 of Defenders, which is why it's called Defenders 88. I believe it was entitled, or at least had a character called the Lord of the Whales. That's exactly what Wailord is. It's Whale Lord, Lord Whales. Easy, done. Wailord, Defender 88. So, after Wailord we have Nummel. And Nummel is going to be called Reynolds. Now this is based off of the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. It's a USA-based tobacco company, which among its umbrella of what it owns and makes Camel brand cigarettes. And Nummel is a camel. Kind of helps that it's a fire type, so it smokes a lot. But there we go, Nummel is going to be named Reynolds for that reason. So, Nummel evolving into Camerupt. Camerupt is going to be called Timanfaya, which I really think and hope that I'm saying correctly. Excuse me. Timanfaya, named after the Timanfaya National Park in Lanzarote. Now, Timanfaya, I believe in and of itself, is the name of a volcano in this national park. But the key thing about it is you can as with many sort of dormant or inactive volcanoes, you can travel up there to see it. And the way you get there in this national park is by camel. So you take a camel ride to the volcano, which is why Camerupt is going to be based off that and called Timanfaya. As you know, that's going to be the name we're using for the Mega Evolution of Camerupt as well. I saw no reason to really differentiate between the two. It's still like a camel that's on fire with a volcano on its back, so why not go for it? Camerupt, Timanfaya. Done. Next up, we have Torkoal. Now, Torkoal, again, there's no particular reason behind this nickname for this Pokemon. It's just one I've always used, and that is going to be LL Cool J. It's named after LL Cool J, not an artist I've listened to very much, but Torkoal, cool. It sounded similar. I like how it looks, so there we go. LL Cool J for Torkoal. Nice and simple. Done. After Torkoal, we have Spoink. Spoink is going to... forgotten done this one. Spoink is going to be nicknamed Optimus Swine. A play on the words of Optimus Prime, which of course Spoink bears no resemblance to whatsoever. But it does hop around on that spring tail that it's got, and it is a pig, which is a swine, basically. So we've taken the hopping part, we've taken the swine part, we've merged them together into something that has nothing to do with Spoink whatsoever, and we come up with Optimus Swine. Try that one again. Optimus Swine for Spoink. Spoink's evolution is going to be Grumpig, and again we're kind of basing it off the rap game, which is not my area, but we're going with it anyway. Grumpig is going to be called Piggy Smalls. After Biggie Smalls, it kind of works here because of course Grumpig is a pig, we all know. It's got a little bit of bulk to it, so based off the big part of Biggie, but we change it to Piggy. But also, Grumpig is only like 2'11" tall. It's really small as far as Pokemon go, as you know. So it is small as well. So we've taken every single aspect of Biggie Smalls, Piggy Smalls, the pig, the size, everything. Grumpig is going to be called Piggy Smalls. Now, next up we have Spinder, and again I really couldn't think of much to go with for Spinder. It was quite difficult, so I've literally just called it Bottle. Because of, based off the game, Spin the Bottle, Spinder, Bottle. And, you know, Spinder does have those weird drunken eyes, and it's always, riding around drunk and stumbling all over the place, which is really the only excuse you'd have to play the game Spin the Bottle. It's a stupid game. You only play it when you're drunk, and Spinder looks drunk, so Spinder is going to be called Bottle. Now, next up we have Trapinch. Trapinch is going to be called Power Cap. And the reason for this is, I think this is one of the very only Pokemon I've got nicknamed based off its stats. Trapinch has a base 100 attack, which is stupidly high. But, while the attack actually goes down when it evolves into Vibrava, when it evolves up into Flygon, its attack goes back up to base 100. So Trapinch's attack never actually gets any higher, even when it becomes fully evolved. So essentially, it does have a power cap on it. In fact, Trapinch with Sheer Force is more powerful than Flygon. So yeah, given, you know, with specific moves. But yeah, that's pretty much why we're going to name Trapinch Power Cap, because it never gets more powerful than it does when it's a Trapinch. Moving on to Vibrava, who is going to be called Noisea. I think I'm saying that. Yes, Noisea. And it's based off the merging of the words noise and nausea. And the reason this is coming from its Pokédex entry, where it talks about how Vibrava creates ultrasonic waves that cause headaches. So ultrasonic waves will cause sort of a noise-based effect, and they do cause headaches, which is a sickness. So you've got the noise, which causes nausea, so we've put the two together to form Noisea. Finally, from that evolutionary line, we have Flygon, and Flygon is simply going to be called SWAT. Named after a fly swat, because what happens when we got a fly swat? You smack the fly, fly is gone. Fly gone, swat, done. The last evolutionary line, as I just checked how long we've been going for, perfect. Last evolutionary line I'm going to look at today is going to be starting with Cacturne. Now, Cacturne is going to be called Century. Reason for this. Cacturne is based off of the barrel cactus, which is this small, quite round, barrel-shaped cactus, as it were. And looking up what the barrel cactus was all about, I found out that these things can live up to 100 years, which is crazy, to be fair. Nature is wild, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it can live up to 100 years, which is a century. Cacturne is based off a barrel cactus that can live a century long, so we've called it Century. Nice and done. The final Pokemon, of course, that we're going to look at today, the evolution of Cacturne, is Cacturne, which is also based off a type of cactus called RHIPSALIS. Now, the RHIPSALIS cactus is a genus native to Southern and Central America and Caribbean rainforests, apparently, from my research. And the key thing about them is, we often sort of think of cacti, as they are, growing in like deserts, in like blazing sunlight and stuff like that. Not in this instance, I can tell you. The RHIPSALIS cactus, they thrive in the dark, as opposed to direct light, which seems counterintuitive to what we imagine a cactus to be, but this is how the RHIPSALIS grows. It thrives in darkness, and Cacturne is a cactus that is a dark type, so Cacturne is going to be called RHIPSALIS. And that is where we're going to end off for today. So thank you all for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. As ever with this series, let me know the nicknames you have for any of the Pokemon we discussed in this video. I love hearing your guys' input on these and what you like to nickname your Pokemon. I love hearing all about that. It just brings me great joy to see what you guys think of my nicknames and also the names you like to give to your Pokemon when you have them. But yeah, as I say, that's going to wrap things up. Next time we'll be kicking off with Swablu, so Altaria is going to be coming up in the next video, and spoiler alert, it might be to do with the band that I mentioned earlier. We'll see how that plays out. But yes, I'm going to get on out of here. My final thank you to you all for watching, and remember, every Pokemon deserves a nickname, so make sure you give them one. But yes, I'm going to get out of here, as I said. My final thank you to you all for watching, and guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.